At the very core of ICMA is the mission to promote an ethical culture in local government. This month, ICMA is recognizing the ethical local government leaders who continue to make this profession great. Joining us for today's Member Spotlight is Jeffrey Stonehill, Borough Manager and Director of Utilities for Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, and ICMA Credentialed Manager. Thanks so much for joining us today, Jeffrey.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here today.
We appreciate you being here to speak on this important topic, but to first give the audience a better understanding of your background, can you share what the highlight of your career has been thus far?
Sure. I've been very blessed to be in a community that's extremely innovative and on the cutting edge of a lot of great ideas. We have been able to do certain things here in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, that a lot of municipalities do not have the ability to accomplish. In addition to owning and operating all of our own utilities, including water, sanitary sewer, storm sewer, electric, and natural gas, Chambersburg Borough is also extremely involved in the economic redevelopment of our community. Recently, one of the most interesting projects we've been able to deal with is the acquisition of a dilapidated shopping center right in the center of our downtown. Like many communities, we've had this eyesore for many years. We've been able to muster the resources and attack it by buying it ourselves, and we really hope that it becomes the centerpiece of new economic development for our community.
Wow, that sounds like a great area of opportunity, and I'm excited to hear what becomes of it, because I think we can all, and anyone listening and myself included, can name a dilapidated shopping center or two in the area. And it's amazing that you're able to harness that for yourselves and repurpose it to hopefully be something very beautiful in the future. And along that vein, that sounds like, a challenge within itself, but can you describe a challenge you faced in your career thus far and how you were able to overcome that challenge?
Absolutely. So obviously, one of the most important roles of being a city manager is being the manager of the staff of your municipality. You do your very best to be the chief of staff, to hire the right people, to grow them so that they can be professionals, your peers, your team members, but you don't always make the right decision. And I was faced with a dilemma when it came to my attention that one of the people that I had personally recruited and hired had turned out to be extremely disappointed. Specifically, I found out that one person that I had hired had engaged in certain behavior which, wasn't in keeping with the goals of our current governmental ideals. It reflected on me and a decision I had made, but I think it was important to set the tone to others that there are certain behaviors that we can't stand for in our organization. It was an ethical dilemma. It was a moment of personal reflection, but I'm proud that I was able to be assertive. I went to the city council, I explained the situation, and we took action. And I think that's the important message here. Don't hide from the challenges. Stand up to them. Even if it reflects on you, the best way to handle that challenge is to be assertive and be clear. And we were in that situation.
It's very, very commendable that you were able to take action and own up to your decisions moving forward and initiating that separation when you saw that it was time, because that's tough, That's great that you were able to take that and set the tone for your organization. And more along that vein, the ICMA Code of Ethics defines the principles that serve as the very foundation for the local government management profession and sets a standard for excellence. What tools and resources do you find most helpful in maintaining an ethical career?
I think it's extremely important that we abide by the Code of Ethics. It sets guidelines, but also gives us challenges to improve ourselves both as individuals and as city managers. And I have taken to heart the importance of the Code of Ethics. And I don't just have it on my wall, and I don't just attend continuing learning opportunities, but I read it and reread it several times a year because it guides me as the principles of what I should do when faced with challenges. And no matter what we do in the local government organization, we are going to be faced with ethical challenges, and being prepared and knowing our true North Star and how to move forward in an ethical way is the only way that we're going to address those challenges as they often arise in government.
That's great. And can you share some advice for those in the profession on how to foster more ethical organizations?
Sure. I think it starts at the top. It starts with a recognition by the chief administrative officer and the department heads and the assistants that they are going to operate in an ethical way. And when I say ethical way, I don't mean moral standards that we might have in our own lives, but also in the professional ethical way that ICMA and the Code of Ethics outlines. We do internal training in our organization to make all of our supervisory employees aware of the ICMA Code of Ethics and what are our requirements as well as our expectations for their performance in their jobs, so that they can abide by that Code of Ethics. I think it's important to talk out scenarios. I think it's excellent that we have roundtable discussions here in our organization. What would you do if you were faced with this challenge? You can't come up with every scenario, but it's important to hypothesize the challenges that are going to happen and talk about other people's ethical challenges in other organizations, things that were done correctly and things that were not always done correctly. So we learn and we grow and we commit to ethical and responsible city management.
Exactly. It always starts from the top, and that just fostering that environment of collaboration and open communication is just so important. And I'm glad to see that your borough is taking that step to really set the example and set the standard for what an ethical organization really looks like. And more on that, and speaking of ICMA and the Code of Ethics, what do you value most about your ICMA membership?
I'm proud to be a credentialed city manager. I let people know what the credentialing program is about. And the thing that's most special about ICMA and the credentialing program is a commitment to lifelong learning. At no point will I stop being able to learn to be a better manager. My entire career is guided by absorbing whatever is the trends in local government, but also fundamental skills and honing those skills.
Yes, the learning never stops. I love to hear it. And I'm happy you've seen that value in our network and our learning opportunities, and especially taking that step to become a credentialed manager. That's even better to hear. And Jeffrey, it was such a pleasure to hear your story and to hear your take on this important topic, and even the rough patches that your own organization had to face. And you are a true great example of an ethical leader, and I can't thank you enough for taking the time to share with us today.
Thank you very much for allowing me the opportunity to share these thoughts with you, as well as to continue to support ICMA as a great organization.
Thank you so much. And you can check out ICMA's Ethics Resource Hub on our website. And to view more member spotlights, be sure to subscribe to our channel.